if you're lost, confused, overwhelmed or stressed and resonate with being off track or needing to get back on track, here's a different way of looking at how to solve that situation and ease the overwhelm, ease the confusion, and get back on track. I'm Alison Smith, and I use nature and metaphor as a means of getting back on track. I do that because sometimes talking about a situation just gets us dragged down into the story we're telling, the beliefs, the this person said that's, the judgments, the I'm stuck, there isn't anything I can do's. And so that's why I use metaphor, because that puts the story we're telling, the drama of the situation, to one side while we explore it metaphorically. So I'd like you to think of a situation that you'd like insight about, one that you resonate with, either feeling like you're off track or want to get back on track, or anything that relates to a track. Let me explore two different ways that you could use to help find how to get back on track. The first tool that I'm going to share with you is drawing the track and then making changes to that track. So I'd invite you to get a piece of paper, a pen, and to think about, well, this track that you're on or off and that you're relating to, what does that track look like? Does it have straight sides? Does it have wobbly sides? Does it have perhaps a dead end? What are the characteristics of that path? And the reason that we're doing that is we're allowing our logical brain to have some time off while we explore the situation metaphorically. So like we're sending the story and all of the content, the drama of this current situation away, and we're actually saying, I relate to this, I feel like I'm off track. And yes, I understand the metaphor, so I can explore the metaphor by drawing it. And as a result of that drawing, you'll then be able to get some insight. So that was a start of a 10. So let me think about what might happen. If I think about my path, it might be, sorry. In my head, it's as if I feel as if it's going to peter out at the end. It's as if, yes, it's starting out quite nice here, but it's petering out at the end. And when I think about, so you might have something completely different. It might be going round in circles. It might be a dead end. There might be crossroads. And there's all sorts of other videos to help if other idioms work. So if you feel like you're going round in circles, if you're at a crossroads, then have a look in the comments and you'll be able to find either another video or a post to help you there. But we're sticking with a track. So what does the track look like? What are the characteristics of the track? Are there lots of stones on this track? Or are there big boulders on the track? What are the characteristics? How wide is it? How long is it? What's at the end? Where are you in relation to it? So you may say, oh, well, actually, I'm off track and I'm actually over here. Yeah? Oh dear. So I'm over here and this is the track. But even if I think about the track, it's petering out and I'm near the petering out end. So the whole aim is to explore the current situation graphically first. It might be that you come up with colours, but to actually have a start of a 10, say, that is my level of off-trackness. And then say, well, what do I need? And the reason here I would suggest that I'm not on track is that if the quickest route for me to get on track is here, but that's automatically taking me to where the track has petered out. So it feels like, and I don't have to think about the logical, but it feels like, well, it's no wonder I'm not motivated because there isn't a track. So what has to happen, and this is where we either you'll be able to make changes to your original picture because of the changes you need to make are easy, or in this case it's that, okay, no, I need to draw myself again over here, but I need to draw a different track. Now, in order for it to make sense to me, and you might look at this and go, but I wouldn't do that, Alison, that's fine, you need to do something different. The whole idea would be, okay, so I need to draw a different track. And actually, in this instance, I'm going to draw it in a completely different direction. And so therefore, then it's a case of, well, I'm going to do here. There's actually signposts telling me where I'm going. And it feels important for me to draw it as a very, very straight track. A straight track that I can walk to. But it's a very different direction than the original. But it is more motivational because it feels as if I need to draw fireworks at this end and smiley faces to show that's what's going to happen at the end of the track. Now you don't need to know, I don't need to know why this feels more motivational. All it means is that you've opened a door in your mind, or I've opened a door in my mind, that previously saw what I was doing like that. It was relating to what I wanted to do, and it kept saying, I'm not taking action because what I'm taking action towards is petering out. It's the dead end. It's going nowhere. Why on earth would I take action? It doesn't matter whether that's real or not. It's just that that's how I was relating to it in my mind. And now I've changed my relationship to it. I've said, you know what? I don't want that. And I might want to rip it up. So I'm going to rip it all up and hope I don't have to re-record this. Rip it all up and say, you know what? That was the old off track and this is me on track. And I might even go a step further just to see what happens, to go back to drawing that track, to actually have those fireworks, the smiley face at the end, and then say, you know what, I'm going to be, there we go, I'm walking up that track and I'm heading in that direction towards all of that. Now, you may have thought of completely different things. The whole idea is that you're just shifting your internal representation you have from our original. I said I shouldn't have ripped it up. From our original, and we're getting a journey. We're saying, oh, actually, if I add another path in, if I make that, realise that that's got a lovely end to it, and then I'm going to show myself walking up it, something shifts inside. And then the whole clue or the whole idea is to then go, so what do I now feel minded to do? Originally, you didn't know what to do. And you were confused and you felt like you were off track. What has this drawing, and there's another video about drawing your problem as a mountain, which I'll put a link to. But what's happened inside for you? What do you now for? Do you feel calmer? Do you feel more sure? Do you feel have more clarity? In what way has your thinking shifted to enable you to realise that you're no longer off track, that you're on track, headed towards your goal, and you know what to do? The second technique involves going out into nature and finding a path or a track that represents how you're feeling, represents the track that you feel like you're off or on, need to get back on track. Perhaps it's a muddy path, perhaps it's a concrete road with movement able in two different directions back and forth, or a tree-lined path, or a path that's barred where we can't get to the other side, or a path that looks like a dead end, longer than we thought path. Or it might be paths where we notice the signs of new growth that enable us to realise that winter is coming to a close and spring is here. Or paths that get you just simply to a higher vantage point, to be able to see further, to see more, to see things you can't currently see. Which reminds me that I've got a Paths and Destinations poem that talks about the different paths we might be on, whether it's dead ends and some of the ones that I've mentioned here. So I'll put a link to a video on my sharing my Paths and Destinations poem too. Or long, very, very straight paths with no view and nothing of interest to see. Or perhaps the path it's a corner or a crossroads, in which case see comments for links to other posts and blogs that help you turn a corner, or what to do when you're at a crossroads. Or perhaps it's the stairs or steps or a ramp. The whole idea is once you've found a track that resonates, then it's, well, what can I do? What can I do to solve this steep track? If I'm here, for instance, and this is where we stick with the metaphor, we don't go back to the current situation. So if it's steep here, then I might need to get a stick to help. I might need to find a different path. Might want to go back the way I've come and find a different route to get over there, because actually the task is to get there. That is precarious, but I know that there's a path, slightly longer path, but it's an easier path. So the idea is to allow the path in front of you, the track in front of you, to mirror how you're feeling and to then find solutions within it. Then it's about, well, how do I translate the I need a stick? How do I translate taking the easier option? And quite often you know what the easier option is in that situation. It's like, but I want to go that way. I'm not 62. I want to have knees that enable me to go that way. Well, that's fine, Alison. But you know what? If I keep trying to go that way, I'm going to end up down there, and then I'm going to end up having to call for help. So you know what? Get over it, Alison. Get over it and go the shorter route, or the longer route, but the easier route, and the route that your knees can cope with. Although I have to say that I've come here to video this because it's out of the wind. So it's also a great reminder, and something that crops up quite often, irrespective of what idiom you're using, which is, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling confused, then take yourself into a situation that reduces the overwhelm. So I've taken myself out of the wind. I'm sitting down and I'm thinking about and viewing the situation from that perspective, rather than trying to keep walking. Oh, I've got to keep moving, and keeping the overwhelm high, and then thinking that, oh, well, when I'm overwhelmed, of course I can think straight. No, you can't. And there is a video for that, and I'll put a link to that here. Perhaps it's not a path that you're on, perhaps it's a journey, like a story that I've written about a journey for a wave that I'll put in comments. So be very careful about, if path doesn't resonate, what's the word that you could change path that I'm using? I'm off track, I'm off the path. I need a journey. What's the word that inspires you to realise what you need to do? Because sometimes it's our words that are keeping us stuck, because we are going, I'm off track, but it's a path that you need to get back onto. So as soon as I start saying, oh, get on track, you go, I want to get on track, Alison. I want a journey. I want an adventure. How cool's that? Stop saying you're off track. You want to get back onto the adventure. How cool's that? Yeah, I like that. I'm going to use that for me.